He was elected 2 times as a Nebraska State Senator and has been elected 3 times as our Nebraska State Attorney General. He's been a fantastic conservative voice for the state of Nebraska, and he's never been afraid to fight for what he believes is right. And we as Nebraskans, we need somebody to send to Washington, D.C. that will work to cut spending and reduce the federal deficit. And on behalf of myself and Mayor Kashke, I'm proud to introduce my friend and candidate for United States Senate, Mr. John Bruning.
Thanks, Mayor. All right, well, here we go. Off to the races. Thank you, Lance, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Kashke, for being here. It's fun to be in North Platte with you today. It's humbling to have the support of my good friends. As you know, I've embarked on a 2-day tour to talk with Nebraskans, listen to their ideas, work together to use those ideas to solve the critical issues facing our nation. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it because I believe what's broken in Nebraska or what's broken in Washington can be fixed with what's right in Nebraska. Washington's in short supply of a few things we have in abundance here in the heartland. We have common sense, we have accountability, and hard work and fiscal prudence. These are hallmarks of Nebraska and what Nebraskans are all about. It's part of the reason we have the second lowest unemployment rate in the country at 4.3%. It's why Nebraska has always been one of the best places to raise a family, start a business, create your legacy. These guiding principles drive our decisions here in Nebraska. They should guide our leaders. But lately, you know that hasn't been the case with our leaders in Washington, D.C. The federal government's endless spending and regulations burdening every Nebraskans with costs we struggle to comprehend and can't afford. It just goes on and on. And principles do matter. When it comes to core principles, nothing illustrates the fundamental difference between me and Senator Nelson more than Obamacare. In a secret, closed-door meeting, Ben Nelson agreed to deliver the 60th and deciding vote for this disastrous legislation in exchange for what's been known as the Cornhusker kickback. In contrast, I have consistently, strongly, and loudly disagreed with this flawed law. Don't judge me on my words, judge me by my actions. After Obamacare became law, I took immediate action in open court to challenge it. And Ben Nelson will tell you that Obamacare is working. The reality is it is not working. It may be working in Manhattan or San Francisco, but here in Nebraska it's having devastating effects. More than 32,000 Nebraskans enrolled in Medicare Advantage will have their benefits reduced by half. More than 400,000 Nebraska households risk paying penalty taxes. A Nebraska family of 4 buying health insurance in the individual market could see an increase in premiums from 10 to 15%. If you own a Nebraska small business employing 50 or more people, you can either pay higher health care costs or a $2,000 penalty per employee. So right when we're trying to encourage business to grow, this law passes, which is unbelievable. But those are details that people in Washington don't want to discuss, so I'll give you the bottom line. $8,400 in new government spending for every Nebraskan, a $450 million hit to Nebraska taxpayers. Also, the Cornhuskers could get a kickback. Washington's interference, unfortunately, doesn't stop at the door to the doctor's office. It burdens our farms and ranches, too. It's inhibiting our state's economic success. EPA has become an abomination of bureaucracy run amok, regulating everything from the air we breathe to the dust we kick up. I fought against EPA increased regulation, challenged the federal government's authority to control our environmental resources, and sued EPA more than a dozen times. Recently, I led a group of states to challenge EPA's efforts to unconstitutionally regulate greenhouse gases. I hope you see a trend here, my friends. When I see a problem, I don't give it lip service. I don't cut a backroom deal. I take action. And that might not sit well with a backslapping crowd in Washington, D.C. today. And I know it won't sit well with them, but those who've contributed to that culture are responsible for the debt, the reckless spending, the threats to our freedom which dominate public policy. And I won't stand for it. We have real problems today. We need real solutions. We need leadership. We need action. Senator Nelson has not provided that leadership or that action. Now, I want you to know I'm proud to be a Nebraskan. This might be the only place left where common sense can still prevail. I'm ashamed that the rest of this country, when they think about Cornhusker, they think about a kickback and not our football team. That has to change. It's time for Ben Nelson to come home. We need somebody to fight for you, not against you. We need somebody who wants less government, not more government. You're going to hear a lot of things over the next 19 months during this race. At its heart, this race is about contrasting records and philosophies. And you start with Ben Nelson's vote to make Obamacare the law of the land. He voted for it. I would have voted against it. I'm leading the lawsuit to repeal it. It doesn't get any clearer than that. It's not personal. It's about records. And as public servants, we have to be judged on our official records. Ben Nelson voted for that bill. I'm leading the lawsuit to repeal it. He's also voted for pro-abortion Supreme Court justices and cabinet secretaries. And I have a 100% pro-life voting record. Ben Nelson even recently voted for an earmark-laden appropriations bill. I will not support earmarks. I will not request earmarks. I will listen to the public in Nebraska. We need to reduce spending at the federal level, and Ben Nelson is not hearing us. Throughout my public service as Attorney General and State Senator, I've never been afraid to stand up for what's right. I voted for every tax cut as State Senator. In every election for legislature and Attorney General, I've been endorsed by Nebraska Right to Life. I fought for our Second Amendment rights. I've always had NRA's endorsement. But this race isn't just about me, and it's not about Ben Nelson. It's about the hardworking men and women in this state who want to raise a family, play by the rules, and want the federal government out of their day-to-day lives. It's about small business owners and entrepreneurs like Lance Carlson and Mark Kashke who want to compete in the free market, who don't want to be taxed to death, who don't want to be chased around by the federal government. We understand the values of personal responsibility in Nebraska, financial prudence, hard work, limited government, and we've gotten away from that in Washington, and that's why I'm running. Government isn't what made America great. Together, we can make America great. It's the people of this country. It's not the government. It's the people of this country. So I'm grateful that you're here today. We've got a lot of momentum. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, johnbruning.com. I pledge to continue doing the right thing. Once I go to Washington, D.C., I'm not going to get caught up in that beltway mentality that just is about spending more and really doing less for this country. I understand we need to have less government. We need to have lower taxes. You send me to Washington, that's why you're sending me. And for too long, those voices of ours have fallen on deaf ears with Ben Nelson. I'm ready to serve. God bless you, and thank you for being here today. All right.